if you remember the market before, like a property was sold before you even had like paperwork signed almost. So you didn't have to connect as much. And I mean that kindly, we did, very relationship based, but almost now you have to continue the relationship slightly longer. And you know, now you have like, if there's more days on market, I think that the client experience for us, that was the place we really needed to be in there experiencing that over and over again. So for us as an ops team and as our sales team, it comes down to scripting. The scripts had to change because now you're having different conversations. And again, we were only used to showing them a couple of properties, putting an offer in, either getting it or not getting it because it sold, you know, to somebody else in multiples. So the client experience, that's like the only thing that comes to mind that when we talk about this is how much we had to shift our conversations and how many people and how much time you spend with your clients now. So it changed the systems. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I hear a lot about client experience and the relationship you guys, not only the agents, have with the clients.
Yeah.
What role does your ops department have in ensuring your clients have a good experience? And I guess, could you explain what it looks like? So
yeah.
when signs a listing, paperwork gets sent off, what role do you have from there forward?
So I hold our agents accountable to continuing a relationship. I'm very adamant that relationships are your, like, that's it, guys. That's your repeat referral. It's just general, like, good business. So we take certain things off the agent's plate, such as the back end stuff, you know, the booking, the photos, the staging. We work with the vendors behind the scene. The only thing Chris really needs to do once he gets a listing is, you know, feedback with the agents, or sorry, feedback with the clients, general check-ins to make sure they're doing okay, negotiating the contract, like the real estate stuff that we can't do as like unlicensed agents or admins. But we hold them accountable to continuing the relationship. I will check files and make sure that I see that there's consistent follow-up being done with the client, because that's super important. So we basically do all the stuff on the back end. We make sure Chris is still always going to be the face, or any of our listing agents, they're the face of the client experience, I guess you can say. But we do a really great job at, when you do a listing presentation with Chris, if you've ever had him demonstrate one for you, we call pass the baton. So it's our team advantage where we pass off our teammates. So he'll sit in the appointment and say something like, Shannon Bodner, who is our listing manager, she'll be connecting with you, circles her face on the paperwork. So that way they know when Shannon calls them who that person is, they were able to relate to it. So that's super important too, is the passing that information off. What else are some things that we do? You know, we do everything. Let's just sum it up. They do everything. Chris negotiates, he gets to win the day. And it's like the nurses to the doctors.
Yeah, I have a question about the accountability. Is it your department that holds the agents accountable, or you look through the database, see that someone's not being followed up with, hey, Chris, you need to talk to this agent?
So we have got a little bit easier. So I very much, I always challenge the operations team. If paperwork isn't complete, we don't go ahead with anything. You have to hold the agents accountable, because we don't be, first of all, we don't want to be chasing the agent down, because we know how difficult that can be. You're already on to the next thing. Second of all, it's just really bad business to have to call a client back after you've already been at their house having this conversation. Such bad business to call me like, I'm so sorry, I know Chris was just there. He's missed a few signatures. I'm going to send this through if you don't mind. And especially when you're dealing with people who don't know how to DocuSign, or they're not in it now, you were running it. There's just no need for that. I just feel like, do your job right there in the moment, and we'll take care of everything else on the back end. So it's super important. So I do hold them to extreme accountability, the operations team, on holding the agents accountable. And then on the flip side, on the transaction side, for when deals are closing and commission checks, you can't get paid if your paperwork's not done. So let's just not do all that in between stuff, and just let's do it right the first time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, I'm the boss.